We're going to have a book review from Mrs. Juliana Francis, the former crime editor with New Telegraph, an award-winning journalist. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a virtual round of applause in the comments as we make welcome Mrs. Juliana Francis for the review of A Whole Chick from a Broken Shell. You have the floor, man.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very excited to be part of this conversation. Um, Joanne is like a daughter to me. When she came to my desk as an intern, there was something special about her. She's just not brilliant. She's also very innovative. So I'm not actually surprised to see that she can even put down her thoughts and go to the extent of publishing it. Yes, while going through the book, I saw where she said some people used to ask her, you're always talking about your dad or your mom. What about this? I did. I was, I was part of those people that asked her that question. And in the book, there were some parts that gripped me. And I remember that there was a time she followed me to a school in K2 to also discuss with them about with the secondary students on why it was dangerous for students to be involved in masturbation. But then let me not derail. So a whole chick from a broken shell, memoir and lessons on relationship and self-discovery. So the book I have been I've been in a hotel a residential training for some young female reporters for like 5 days. I just came back yesterday, and it was that yesterday I quickly glanced through the book, and it was very gripping for me, some parts. So, but in all, the book tells us to be real in relationship, not to be fake, because that is what we see these days, fake lives everywhere, especially on social media. But in this book, Joan Yakubu is telling us that for us to be able to have a sustainable relationship, that we should be real. We should not hide ourselves. And because what we are going to is not just it's just not a relationship that will, like marriage. Marriage is a marathon. It's not a sprint race. It's not something you just dash in and you dash out. So she's urging us that we should see marriage as a life, like a marathon anyway, and that if we cannot show our real self, then there is something wrong, fundamentally wrong with the relationship. And everything she has been telling us about the book is what she saw played out between her mom, her dad, and herself. And I keep wondering how many people her age will even be able to understand this kind of psychological journey and be able to put it down. And she also told us that in relationship we should not keep secrets. And if our spouse at the point are able to actually review their inner selves to show us who they are, that we should be able to forgive them. Because forgiveness is part of the journey in relationship. And if some of the revelations are shocking, we should be able to have what she calls shock absorber. All these things are in her book. We should be able to have something to withstand that shock. You cannot say because your spouse has decided to review his inner or her inner self, and then you want to take a walk. Joanne is telling us that no, we should be able to understand that human frailties, because we are human beings and we have mechanism to have shortfalls. So because of that, we should be able to learn to forgive ourselves, forgive our spouse, and try to move on in the relationship and make the relationship not to be a punishment ground, but an enjoyable place. And another thing she actually hammered on in her book is Communication, the importance of communication for us to have a better relationship. She also said we should think twice before marrying somebody, you know. So she argues in her book that if you are dating somebody and the person has vices and you are seeing those vices with your koro eyes to say, and you are accepting those vices, that you should think twice before walking down the aisle with that person. Now, the person is drinking, drinking because he used her dad as an example. The person is drinking, and you are okay with that. You are cool with that. Then the person, you now go married with the person and you want to take a walk when the drinking has become excessive. You know, people used to say that when you are dating, there is so much romance, but after that, after dating, you go down the aisle, then you start a proper married life, and the kids start coming, that the romance will fizzle out because the devil in everybody starts to show. Just laughter as if it's a as if you are petting her, and yes, she has a soul. And you as a woman, you are comfortable with that. You are not turning a Ben Johnson, or running 100 miles away from that person. And this is happening in courtship. Joan said you should watch out, because once you go in, you shouldn't be ready to rush her, because it will, at the end of the day, affect the children. You know, she said those vices are not just for your own safety, for you to, she's saying that if you want to stay and you don't want to take off, for your own safety, then you should think about the children, because the children witnessing those things will actually impact them negatively. According to her, the health, the mental health of the children is very important in relationship. Then she talks about masturbation, about young people, how is something they call an insidious sin, insidious practice, something that just comes upon you. You want to practice what you watch, you want to practice what you read. And she tries in her book, she actually took time to explain how she found herself caught in that web, and how she was able to actually overcome it. And for me, I think that particular chapter was gripping, because believe it or not, masturbation is actually a problem. Our pornography is now at the click of a finger. So even the pressure is so much on the youth of today that I don't even know how they are coping. And mind you, masturbation, to show you the seriousness of masturbation, is even being discussed and debated in churches. There are some pastors who are saying it's okay to be doing it. But I mean, if you want to bring it down to religion, then you have to properly read your Bible to understand that it's actually the deadly web. And Joan, if you go through the book, you will see that Joan took time to pay attention to this particular problem, because she knows that it's something that is prevalent among youth. And that was why she equally took time to go to a secondary school in my 12 to talk to them about this. So then, after that, in another chapter, she talked about spouses rejecting food. If you're in a relationship and we are talking about marriage, your wife has offended you. She said it's wrong for you to 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 reject the woman's food, and she even used herself as an example. How she went, how she prepared food for her dad the day her dad was coming to see her, and when the dad got to her place, he refused to eat the food. He said he has, and she felt so bad. So she said we should juxtapose that her situation then, how she felt with the way a wife will feel when the husband rejects her food, because to go to the kitchen, to go to the market, and then she prepares everything, and for the man to reject it is psychologically deflating. That is Joan's argument, and we agree with her. She said it's not just affecting the woman who has gone through a lot to prepare the food. It's also likely going to affect the health of the man, who is now, because he's trying to prove his muscularity, he's likely going to develop a health deficiency because he's not eating the right food. And of course, going to take alcohol is not equivalent to taking good food which your spouse has prepared for you. Then Joan said we should appreciate our spouses. If you're a man, you're in a relationship, appreciate your spouse. If you're a woman, you are in a relationship, appreciate your spouse. Don't take either the man, the woman, don't take your spouse for granted. And I read, this is very captivating. Pay close attention. Don't take your spouse for granted. If your woman has always been there for you, every night she's cooking, afternoon she's cooking, just appreciate her. If she has a new hairstyle, even if she barbs this in low cost, appreciate her. If the man is always bringing money that put food on the table, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a limousine or a Ferrari, as long as he's making the home comfortable for you to eat, because feeding is very important, and he's always there, and he's not slapping you. You should appreciate him. That is what Joan is saying. And Joan is also telling us that just in case you are in a relationship and you offend your spouse, or your spouse offends you, you have to apologize to each other. And if you are the person in the wrong, accept that you've wronged your partner and apologize. And again, she tells us that we should not be distracted by life and end up losing our partners, or what she calls meaningful relationships. That we should not be distracted, no matter the distraction, no matter whatever we are going through, that we should always pay close attention to our children. We should pay close attention to our spouses. Then we should pay close attention to even our extended family, because family is very important to Joan, and that is what she's telling us in this book. If there are issues, she tells us that the dispute can be resolved without us bringing in a third party. Disputes can be resolved without us bringing in a third party. And I think this is very, very important. Now, this book, I think, and this is my own opinion, I think if there's a way we can actually escalate this book to go for younger people, like people in the secondary school, people in the university, it will be actually be excellent, because everything here is pointing. It's like a preparation. It's like a preparation for you, like tips. There are gaps, and there are gaps in relationships today, and this book has come to tell us this is how to bridge the gap. Wisdom has nothing to do with age. Even if you try to read the holy books properly, you will see that God can use and choose anybody God wants to just bless or anoint with knowledge, with wisdom. And that is what I've seen in this book. And for people who are just starting relationship, for young people who are out there, who are still struggling with one relationship problem or the other, or one sexual problem or the other, this book is actually very good for them. However,
relationship can be very, very, even after 30 years, there are things I'm still learning. So more importantly, Kudos for writing the book, and I encourage more people to read the book so that you can prepare, because marriage, like they've said, is a marathon, and you keep learning every day. So once again, kudos and well done.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we have one more person? One more person, please. Anybody else? You can give a commendation like Mr. Lekon did. You can, if you've not read the book. I personally think that this is something worthy of commendation, honestly. So in the next few seconds, anybody, before we wrap up, somebody wants to say something? Five, four, three, two, one. Okay. So before we go into how to get the book, for now, like Mrs. Juliana rightly said, it's an ebook, but I believe or I know from information from the author that the hard copy would be available very, very soon. So I want us to drop words of commendation in the comments. I can already see a few comments, but I want you to, if you don't want to say it, like take the floor and say something, drop comments in the comment section and just celebrate John in the comment section, right? I want us to celebrate her. This is a feat that a lot of people have been shying away from. I personally think it takes courage to write about your personal experiences, and you write about it not just because you want to share your story, but because you want others to learn from it. Trust me, it is a commendable one. So please drop comments in the comment section. John will be in the comment section reading the things that you have to say. So about details on where to purchase the book. The book is available on Stella. John, are you going to give us the link in the comments? Please drop the link in the comments. The book is on. It's available for sale on Stella, and then the hard copy will also be available very soon. And I got first-hand info that there's a discount. John, am I right? I think there's a discount for people who order now. Give us the information on that.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for everything that you said and the corrections. I will take note of them. So the book is on seller and is at a very discounted price. So yeah, like I definitely be hard copy. So it's just taking note of those corrections before we go ahead to make production of the hard copy. And I'll be
All right.
sharing the link very soon on the chat box.
Okay, please do that. We have about 5 minutes to the end of this meeting. So help us drop the link.
Actually, 5 minutes. I will be ending
I
soon.
encourage every one of us to please download the book, get the book, buy the book, and share. I mean, not buy the book and share with others, but share the link so that others can equally buy the book. So thank you once again for joining this. Yes, the link is already in the chat box. Thank you very much for joining this amazing event. And just like that, we have reached the end of a truly remarkable event, if I do say so myself. Thank you for being so much of this celebration, for showing up, encouraging, and for supporting the launch of a whole chick from a broken shell. Today wasn't just about a book, it was about vision, creativity, and courage. And John gave us a taste of all of that. So thank you once again. If you've not grabbed your copy yet, do so right now. The link is in the chat box. And don't forget to leave a review. More importantly, for others who may want to buy the book, leave a review on Seller. Spread the word, because stories like this deserve to be read, shared, and remembered. Thank you to our incredible author. Thank you to Mrs. Juliana, Mr. Lekon, and every other person on this call. I can see a lot of us, well wishers of John, friends, colleagues. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for spending your time with us. Until next time. Please stay inspired, keep reading, and take good care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you once again.
Relationship can